I'm talking to the nigga named Marz Barz. Look in the chat. I told him, like, just mic up and debate me. I don't know why he's doing this text shit. I don't fucking respond to
The argument's just going to be inside chat, by the way. Yeah, respond to the argument inside chat, by the way.
Yeah, respond to the argument, man.
Come on, nigga, you suck.
That's ironic.
Listen, it's going to be a reductio, right? Under possible world semantics, you're just going to run into counterpart theory, right? That's going to be the reductio of your view of identity.
That was rhetorical.
Right, so you're just going to dodge because you don't have the conceptual bandwidth to understand S5 logic and modal semantics, right?
Ooh.
Oh my god, hold on, I'm about to be on this nigga real quick. Hold on, let me get this.
Then do it, bitch.
Okay, yeah, okay, the Lewis counterpart theory is optional, not canonical. Are you dumb? Oh my god. Okay,
listen,
so
I don't even know how to think.
Let me explain. Hold on. The objection assumes that theory provides the legitimate framework in this case. But I don't think you're understanding where IV is going to be grounded in. It's going to be grounded in a non-reductive fucking theory of identity, which is temporal continuity that merely tracking similarity. But the criterion
No, this is actually addressing the spatio-temporal requirement.
This is what I'm telling you. I'm explaining to you right now. Listen, the counterpart theoretic objection in this case fails unless the Grant-Lewis fucking metaphysics would have to be in the state of continuity being primitive to identity criterion. Even if that identity over time is complex, we're not going to be defining in the identity reductively. We're just going to be saying that identity in this case is going to be stating that it objecting maintains spatio-temporal continuity. So when you're going into it,
this is how I know you're confused, right? So if what you're saying is that there's going to be a numerical identity relation between, you know, an object or entity at time t1 and a set of t states, then that's just going to be like necessarily
that's
false.
Not what I said in my t1. Stupid bitch. He's fucking missing.
This is like I mean, by the way, this is a direct response to your spatio-temporal understanding of identity, where you basically ground identity in identity.
Guys, we're gonna post a poll in chat after the debate's done, and obviously who's gonna win.
You understand what numerical identity is, little boy?
No. I'm telling you.
No, of course not. Of course not. And that's the problem.
I'm telling you that the numerical identity in this case, we're not going to the case. We're saying that basically all we're saying is that spatio-temporal continuity is going to stay preserved under the criterion under diachronic grounds. So when you're speaking about like the applications to persistence over time, is ad hoc. Lewis himself is going to actually be distinguishing this modal and fucking temporal parts. You don't understand that. It's not uniformly reduced to temporal identity.
No, that's not right, by the way. That's just false in counterpart theory.
No, that's wrong right there, because IV is rescuing this fucking coherence by saying
right. So you think that in the possible world, in the actual world, which is just the possible world we live in, that an entity is going to be like numerically identical to its counterpart, which is what its non-actual entity is in another nearby possible world.
Said that.
Are you retarded?
Are you dumb?
Are you?
Are you actually dumb? I don't know who this nigga in the background is. Like I was trying to say, nobody said that. I said that even counterpart theory requires continuity for eligibility.
No, it doesn't.
Ironically, even if counterpart theory smuggles in the fucking spatio-temporal continuity through the notion of counterpart eligibility, that's what I'm saying. A temporal counterpart.
No, you're mistaken. It requires a previous causal chain. It doesn't require like spatio-temporal considerations.
The salient criteria that makes something a counterpart. Are you good? Are you fucking good?
No, that's false, by the way.
No, it's not. Because the very semantic machinery under this would have to be saying that the object IV actually relies on the same continuity that IV explicitly affirms.
No, you're just going to be begging the question when you say like there is an object such that it, you know, maintains spatio-temporal continuity, when what the identity of the object is the thing in question.
Oh, that's not begging the question. No, I did not give that.
Right, so just give the S5 formulation of your position.
No. I'm not giving it S5 formulation. I don't think you understand. I'm giving one.
Right, so you actually don't understand possible world.
I do understand. I'm giving like a hypothesis.
Right, then just give it. Right? Because I gave a formalization, which I think is what you're saying with the spatio-temporal stuff, which actually isn't going to account for phenomenological continuity, by the way. So you're just going to get reduced on the ship of Theseus. You're going to get reduced on like teletransportation. You're going to get reduced on like multiple fronts, by the way.
No, listen, you don't understand. Even under Lewison's assumptions, IV does not explicitly assume identity simplicity in this case. It's saying that it pauses spatio-temporal continuity as a sufficient, not necessary ground for diachronic identity. So it does not contradict the fucking counterpart under my thesis because it's a more stable
define all that
foundation. That's why I was telling you that if we're
Yeah,
going
that's wrong. But look, are you saying that spatio-temporal continuity is going to be like the necessary conditions under your view?
No, oh my God, no, I said spatio-temporal continuity.
Okay, then we can just disband the whole argument. What's the point?
Are we good? No, I said it pauses that spatio-temporal continuity as a sufficient, not necessary ground for diachronic identity.
Right. So what's going on in transporter cases?
Transportability and causal inference.
Define that.
Yeah, so phenomenological continuity, right? If you get transported some other world, a la a parfait, then what's going on there?
Like, if you can transport spatio-temporal continuity in another world A?
Well, you can't transport space and time, retard.
Yeah, okay, no, you're a dumbass, because you literally said, can you transport it? So I'm asking, what do you mean? It's clarification.
Yeah, you're at.
Listen, transport time.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you think you're like really well versed on this stuff. So I'll do the due diligence of educating you real quick, right?
Yeah,
so the idea is that you step into it. Yeah, so you step into a teleporter, right, and it disassembles all the atoms that are there, and then there's an identical copy of those atoms and the places it was going, and so on and so forth, right, of different atoms, right? So there's going to be a phenomenological continuity. Right, and there's not going to be a spatio-temporal continuity. So what's going on there?
Ooh,
phenomenal.
All right, Sunlock. Yeah, you're saying you're not defining it reductively, but you're only giving one set of sufficient conditions, and I'm asking a very simple question, which is what happens in the teleported cases.
That's not the set. Listen, my response is this.
The same as what? Listen, bro. And just say you don't understand parfait. Just say you don't understand possible world semantics, and just say you don't understand phenomenological continuity, bro. Well, that's actually correct. I don't understand half of what you're saying because it's going to be like proprietary nonsense.
That grounds the numerical identity. So I don't know why you're saying that we're going to be saying the numerical identity in itself when the counterpart.
No, but you don't want to invoke numerical identity, right? Because time state T1 and time state T2 are going to have like different things, right? So that's not going to help you.
Time state T2 is going to be in the future in this case, and then time state T1 is going to be present.
Yeah, you think, right, so you think the present is going to be numerically identical to the future? Are you like retarded or something?
No, nobody said that. No, nobody said that. Are you dumb? Are you dumb?
Right.
So,
so why would you invoke, right, so why would you invoke numerical identity, right? You thought that would help you.
No, I don't think you understand. No, I'm not saying that it's going to be invoking this future point because I'm saying that I agree with sequential ignorability. But listen, that's not the point though, because the main point in orientation of my point is just saying that.
No, you said numerical identity, by the way.
No, I said the fair. No, I don't think you understand. I said where spatio-temporal continuity is not merely tracking the similarity, but it's the very criterion that grounds the numerical identity. That's what I'm talking about. It grounds it.
No. But again, when you say grounds the numerical identity, that's not. Listen, spatial temporal continuity is not going to ground numerical identity because you already conceded in the last 10 seconds that time state T1 and time state T2 aren't going to be numerically identical, right? Because the sorts of entities that are going to like exist in those locations and whatever just aren't going to be the same, right? Because time has changed and you're just like retarded still.
No, nobody fucking said that. Nobody actually conceded to that. Are you dumb?
Listen, you just lost in the dialectic. Give up.
Are you dumb? No, I'm just telling you that it's not just about the resemblance. When you're speaking about the two things identical because they look similar or behave similarly over time,
right? So let's just try this again, retard. When you say numerical identity, right. We're just going to try this again, retard. So when you say numerical identity, why are you invoking that?
Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Are you actually dumb? No, this is what we're invoking. We're saying that an object is the same over time, like heaesthetic, the philosophical theory of heaesthetic. This is saying that we are always going to be equaling to ourselves.
No, it's not going to be numerically identical.
And nobody else can be us. So that's going to be heaesthetic. That's when it's invoking. But we're not saying that time T2 is going to be identical to time T1 because how I am now, listen, it's going to still be the same as how I am in the future. But listen, the future is not going to be the same as how the past is now.
You're trying to ground, spatio-temporal continuity within numerical identity, which just isn't going to work because as as I've already said multiple times, and you floundered on this point, is that time state T1 is not going to be numerically identical to time state T2. So that's actually not going to help you.
No, entity X in time state T1 is going to be identical to entity X in time state T2, but time state T2 is not going to be identical to time state T1.
Wait, so what's going to be identical there?
Yeah. Listen, I was going to explain. So, if, for an example, let's give an example. Like Clark Kent equals Superman is a statement of numerical identity, but there aren't two beings, just one being with two names. You get me?
No. We're not talking about like rigid designations of the same object.
No, nobody's talking about that. We're talking about transportability.
Well, yeah, you are, because you're talking about Clark Kent and Superman, which is like a crypt game point for some reason, right?
No,
what we're talking about, yeah, it is, by the way. Just read some fucking crypt key, little kid. So the point is, it's just not going to be the case that the numerical identity is going to like. Time state T1 is going to be numerically identical to time state T2, right? Because that would just mean there is no time change, right? Retard.
No, are you dumb? I never said time state T1 is going to be identical to time state T2. I said
no. You said entity X is going to be the same, right? So you said entity X is going to be the same in time state T1 and time state T2, and I'm asking what is identical there?
Oh, we good? Oh, we fucking good. That's what you meant.
No, you're not good, by the way. You're actually not good. You actually suck at this, by the way.
Which is just going to say the causal function of X remains uninterrupted. Its identity to be sustained if no alterations in its constituent parts. Like
yeah,
no identity.
So that's the exact question I'm asking you. When you say entity X is going to be right, so you say entity X is going to have identity over time, right, between time state T1 and time state T2. Just disambiguate that notion, right?
Are you dumb? Are you dumb? You just did not track anything I just said, and I just objected that. What you just try to say that I'm saying. I said entity at time state. Entity at time. Listen, shut the fuck up. The continuous path through space and time. I'm saying that time state T1 of an entity X without interruption, no teleporting, no sudden breaks in existence would remain at time state T2. Hence, its form and function would follow Hayes-Seti.
Right. So, in virtue of what is it entity X if it changes between time state T1 and T2? Go ahead.
Wait, say that one time. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is talking about.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, which is just that this entity is not going to be interrupted, right, between its spatio-temporal navigation. But what I'm asking you specifically is, you say there's an entity X such that it occupies state T1 and T2, right? And what I'm asking you is, in virtue of what is it? Entity X have identity if the time states are changed, right? When you say it's identical to itself or something like that, I'm asking you, what does that mean?
Explain to you. I'll give you examples. And endurantism. Are you good with that? Hello?
Yeah, that's not going to help you, by the way.
Everybody vote on poll. Vote on poll.
So when we're speaking about objects wholly present at each moment of time, I'm just saying that the object endures. So it remains numerically the same across changing the time states. It remains numerically the same across changing the time states. It remains numerically the same across changing the time states. So that's why I'm saying that time states are not identical. Obviously, 1 p.m. doesn't equal 2 p.m., but the objects exist at both. So X at T1 equal X at T2 because it's
no. Yeah, so here's the problem, right? So here's the problem. I'm just going to outline this for you very simply, right? No, but you already made a mistake, right? So I'm just going to correct your vague notions. Now, you said the object, referring to supposedly the same object, and that's the thing in question, right? I'm asking you, in virtue of what is X going to be an entity such that it can change and maintain identity over time if you already concede that the T states are going to be different? I'm asking you, in virtue of what are they the same object?
Oh my God, you just did not fucking listen. Okay, think about a 5-year-old, for example.
Right, so I'm just going to take this to be the case that this is like an IQ problem and bow out. I already beat you.
Listen,
you already shot yourself in the foot. You landed in reductio after reductio with the transporter cases, with the ship of Theseus. You don't understand time T1, T2, anything like that. And Nothing's
This
actually
nigga retarded as shit. Hey yo, please, mic up real quick. I'm gonna make this nigga look like a video.
2FLOCK. You just got 11 old on polls.
You suck.
You just got 11 old on polls. You just got 11 old on polls. You retarded bitch. You lost.
Dumbass bitch, my nigga. You suck. None of these
11
niggas
old
actually
on
understand half of
polls.
what I just said.
11-0, buddy.
Notice how nobody in here actually understands what I said. Nobody here understands actually anything I just said.
11-0 on polls.
Mind you that.
Eric, is he saying you don't know anything?
Mind you that. None of them actually understood what I said.
I wouldn't let that slide if that was me, Eric.
Yeah, shut up. Like I was gonna say, let me help you out one more time.
Or what, nigga?
Oh, what, nigga? Like, come on, please, just stop. Like I was gonna say, the temporal indices change, but
that shit was not rhetorical, man.
Smoothie. Earlier, 2FLOCK was saying that he beat you.
You're not going to
go on you, bro. They trying to debate.
You're not going against it. Hey, yo, holy shit. What the fuck?
Wait, Smoothie, did that guy beat you?
Yeah, 2FLOCK beat me, I guess.
Yeah, I beat you badly.
He was being sarcastic.
Listen, it's okay. This argument's like kind of complicated, and I BTFO'd Detroiter with it. So
my nigga, I beat the fuck out of you, my nigga. Please just stop.
No,
you
you
lost 11-0 on polls, by the way.
Hello.
Yeah, I beat you in basketball, by the way.
That should tell you. That should tell you if he actually beat me or not. He probably think that he won just to get his
bench press. Yeah, pick some shit, bro.
He loses in polls all the time, but that doesn't mean that he actually fucking lost. Same way.
Obviously, it does.
No, it doesn't. What the fuck are you dumb?
Wait, why?
Are you dumb?
Why?
Okay, give me one justification on why I lost. Go ahead.
Because the poll says so.
You can start debating.
Because the poll says so. Oh my god.
No one's laughing.